And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another live sprint. I am your host, Sandy Golston, BookTube TV, and I am looking forward to being productive while sprinting. I should probably be outside sprinting. They said it was going to rain, but it has not rained as of yet. That doesn't mean that it will not at some point. But if it doesn't, I will regret an opportunity to have gone out and actually gotten my daily exercise. So we'll see. If things hold up after the live, then maybe I'll go outside and get in some exercise to get some things going. But I am looking forward to being back here to do some live sprinting here on the channel. Last week, I canceled the live sprint because I was doing a collaboration, our Ultron Book Force productivity collaboration. So I was doing that. Very excited to do that, of course, with two of my BookTube buddies, Margaret Bernard and Steph from Coffee Over Apples. And so that was a lot of fun to jump into that and have some fun being productive and making it happen here. So let me get caught up on a couple of things here as you guys continue to work your way in. I'm looking for my NaNoWriMo dashboard here. So bear with me for a second as I get going with that. So hello, Claude Corp R. Appreciate having you here. You might be a newbie. I'm not sure that I've seen your name around here. So welcome here to the live sprint. Oh, here we go. Shay with the hobbies here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you in. And I hope your NaNoWriMo is going well. Hope everybody's NaNoWriMo is going well. I'm getting ready to do an update of mine just to let people know what is going on. Yeah, I'm glad to be back sprinting. As I mentioned, I took last week off from my channel to do a collab sprint, which is good. You know, I did make a pledge that I was going to do more collaboration this year. I'm not sure if I've totally lived up to that as much as I wanted to, but at the same time, it's been good to do more collaborations. So anybody out there that wants to collab, you know, hey, just let me know. I am definitely down to collab with people in some productivity sprinting or just, you know, whatever here in these YouTube streets. So just hit me up if you guys are interested in that. I am definitely excited about doing that. But what I'm also really excited about is Camp NaNoWriMo. So for Camp NaNoWriMo, I decided to use basically the regular NaNoWriMo goal, which is 50,000 words in a single book. So I decided to do that as my goal. So it is July 24th. So we're coming up here down the home stretch, if you will, of NaNoWriMo. So I am right now at 41,000, almost 41,000 of my 50,000 words. I don't know, for some reason I haven't been updating my NaNoWriMo as regularly as I should have. So it's a little bit behind here, but I'll get caught up. But I'm about 10,000 words away from achieving the goal. And what I'm working on, the project that I'm working on is book one in a 5-book dystopian series that I'm really excited about. So I have never really set out to write a book series and actually do it. So that has been a good positive to organize it. I put a lot of time into outlining the entire 5-book series. So I've got the entire 5-book series laid out in 3-act format. And I did all my primary character sketches are pretty much done. So I'm in a really good spot there. I'm sure anybody who's done their writing knows that these things evolve, of course, as you go along. So I know some things are going to change. So I'm just preparing myself for that right now. Appreciate that, Claude. Yeah, it is. It's a really positive thing right now. And considering I had a couple of lulls where I was dragging a little bit at a couple stretches during the month. there was just a lot of stuff going on, and I was not as diligent in terms of sticking with the writing as I needed to be yet. I had some days that actually made up for it, where I just went ham and just really got in a lot of words and kept myself on track. Did a good job of sticking with the outline. Did have, for the most part, I did have one point where I deviated from the outline a little bit, kind of screwed things up. Then I had to go back and do a repair job. So that set me back a little bit as well. So, but I think I did most of the repairs that I needed to do to get myself back on track. Yeah, so I had there was a couple small things. It's kind of hard to explain, but I had my character, I mixed a couple different characters up because I wanted to go in a little bit of a different direction. And so when I looked at it and I got into a nice writing groove and it was flowing and it was feeling good. And then I was like, wait, whoa. This is not fitting with I don't know why it just hit me, but I'm like, this is not fitting with the outline. So I had to go back and I had to reconcile the two to make it work. So I did end up making that work. It took a little effort because I had to go back and clean up a lot to make it work. So thank you so much, Shay, with the hobbies. Yeah, so it's really been a positive there. So I'm gonna do probably at least three 20-minute sprints, maybe more. We'll see what happens, but that's the tentative plan for right now. But first, let me talk to you a little bit about what I'm reading right now. So this is the book that I'm currently reading, The Vines by Shelley Nolden. And it's really kind of an interesting book because it deals with a mysterious island in the New York area. And it deals with an abandoned hospital there. It has an urban explorer, a mysterious young woman that lives on the island, family secrets. So there's a lot going on in this book. And I saw it and I've said this before, but the Facebook algorithm kept finding me for this particular book. So they knew something because they kept finding me with this. They kept beating me over the head with this. And eventually I was able to validate that marketing like that can actually work, because they did get me to finally pull the trigger on it. And so far, I've been pretty happy with it. I've really just gotten going with it. So less than 100 pages into it so far. It's actually a really high quality book. It's really very heavy. It's on very, very good paper stock. So it's a very well done book. Cover is actually pretty sharp as well. So I've been definitely excited about reading this one. I put myself on a soft book buying moratorium. I'm not going to buy any books for a while, but I lifted that temporarily because I made a trip downstate to Detroit, and one of my favorite bookstores down there is on the way. It's just too tempting for me I actually passed up on it on the way down to Detroit, and then on the way back, I almost passed up on it again. And fortunately, there were no cars close to me as I made a last-second decision to get off on that exit to go and visit that store in that outlet mall. So it was a good decision because I ended up, and I'll do a video about this mini book haul, but I ended up picking up 6 books. They had like a 3 for 20. I think it was 3 books, 3 hardcover books for $20. So I saw that and I'm like, that's a good deal. So I ended up picking up actually 6 books. So he was probably happy to see me. I don't know, maybe I had sucker written all over me when I walked in there, but he got what he wanted. I got what I wanted. So I got 6 books that I was really excited about for a pretty good price. So that was definitely one I was really happy about there on the way back home. So that was definitely a positive thing for me. And so I've got a ton of books that I need to catch up on. You can probably see some of the books over here that I've talked about that I want to read. Got Ace of Spades right here. Malibu Rising, Taylor Jenkins Reid is a book that I want to read over here. The President's Daughter by Bill Clinton and James Patterson. So those are 3 of the books right there that I want to read. Got some other books over here, a ton of books over there, a bunch of books there, way back there. There's some other books downstairs. There's some books. I mean, there's just books all over this house. So yeah, you know how that goes. I almost have enough for a used bookstore right here. I could almost literally turn my house into a bookstore. So I'm not going to do that. There's probably some zoning reasons why I can't do that. So I'm not even going to think about going in that direction. So for those of you who are here, I definitely appreciate having you here, and excited to hear any projects that you guys are working on or any books that you guys are reading. I always like in these live streams if people have suggestions for books that they're reading. I'm always interested in those being shared, so I can check out those books, and sometimes I pick up some good suggestions from what others of you are reading that I can go ahead and look, and maybe there'll be something tempting enough for me to break my book buying ban, my book buying ban to, for a good cause. So, oh, by the way, I am sporting my NaNoWriMo 2020 winner shirt. I participated in NaNoWriMo for the first time last November. And the goal there, of course, was 50,000 words in the month of November. And I did more than beat that goal. I can't remember. I think I ended up with not quite 70,000, but it was a pretty large number. I think it was, it might have been around 70,000 words. It was well over 60,000 words. So that was a really great accomplishment for my first time doing NaNoWriMo. So I am going to do NaNoWriMo again this November. I'm just not quite sure what project I'm going to work on for NaNoWriMo. Fortunately, I've got a lot of time to think about it right now. I've got at least 2 candidates. I can always do book 2 of this series because my goal is for this 5-book series is to have at least 2 of the books written by the end of the calendar year 2021. So that is a huge goal for me to have that done. So I'm thinking that book 2 in this series could be my NaNoWriMo project, but I also have 2 other books that I'm really excited about writing, and one of them is a little bit of a different type of book than I usually do. It's a satire. It's a satire fiction about life experiences as a minority in a climate with the majority and some of the things that you go through. And so I just got a lot of stories that I've been able to gather over the years, my own experiences, the experiences of others, and of course I will be doing some significant research. So I may try to slide that one in between books 1 and 2 of this, just to give book 1 a chance to digest before I start with book 2. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But that's a book I'm really excited about. I like in my head, and I've already written it down, but I've already done a rough outline of it. I know how it's going to work, so I'm excited about jumping into it. And I'm like, it's hard, but I've been pumping the brakes because I want to get done with book 1 in this series. And so as I'm at over 40,000 words of what I envision to be probably 85,000 words. So I'm almost halfway to the goal, to what I think this book is going to be. So I don't want to break stride right now. The book that I'm writing right now is in 3-act format. I just finished Act 1. I finished it with a bang. Act 2 is a little bit shorter, and Act 3 is a little bit longer as I bring it toward the end to get it moving into book 2. So again, this case, having a nice outline has really helped me to stay on track. Let's see, catching back up with you guys in the comments section. Claude says, I'm writing a paranormal novel. Okay. I edit along the way. For reading, I just finished book 6 from Dan Willis, the Arcane Casebook series, and it's a really great series. Okay, good. I'll have to go and check that out. Paranormal is, you know what? I was really tempted in this. It's interesting you mentioned that in this 5-book series that I'm doing. I was really tempted to introduce a paranormal type of element to this story. I don't actually read a lot of paranormal stories. The closest one I came to that was probably the Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. That had a little bit. I don't know if anybody in the feed has read that, but I read that one. That one had a little bit of it, not as much as I thought it was going to have, but it did have a little bit of that element. So I'll definitely check that out. And congrats on working on paranormal novel. That sounds really interesting. You know what? You mentioned your second sentence, I edit along the way. I always go back and forth on that because there are different schools of thought with that. Some people believe that you just run right through, put your head down and just run right through, and you worry about editing later. But I just cannot do that. I just find it very difficult to do that, because if I see something that, if I remember something that I know needs to be fixed or something that I want to get right, I will definitely do that. Go back and fix it. So I also edit along the way. So Claude, we might be in the minority on that one. I'm not sure, but I definitely do like to edit along the way as well. So good stuff there. Let's see, Coffee Over Apples, Steph, who I mentioned earlier, my Voltron Book Force teammate there. A happy Saturday to all. Happy Saturday to you as well. Need to catch up on some of your videos. I have been slacking on my stand-up videos. I've been just so focused on writing and a lot of stuff going on with the job, and so I need to get back onto that and get that going. So you guys can look forward to, I'm gonna film the mini book haul that I talked about a little bit earlier minutes ago. I'm gonna do one on that, and I have a couple other ones that I'll do. That one will be a stand-up that I'll go in the room over here, and where I've got the camera set up, the ring light and all that stuff in the background with all the stacked books, and I'll shoot that particular video. And then I have a series of AuthorTube videos that I am going to film, probably sitting down here. So be on the lookout for those videos as well. Let's see, great job, you're smashing. Yeah, you know, things are definitely going well. You know, sometimes there's give and take, and so I've had to give a little bit with the video filming for BookTube and AuthorTube. In terms of the stand-up videos that I have to stand up, go over there, set up the light, get the camera going, film it, take the card out, put the card into the reader, and drag it over to my computer, plop it into Premiere, edit it, let it render, and then upload and all that stuff. You know, it takes a while, and so I got to get my energy level back up to do those again. So, but I've got some good ideas that I think are going to get me going with that. I'm gonna have to do my wrap-up video, of course, at the end of the month, and I need to let me check my progress, because I think my reading has probably been slacking this month. I will say my Goodreads goal. Dude, what is Goodreads is tripping right now. I don't know why Goodreads just decided to just log me out for some reason. So let me get on back up in here. So let's see. Okay, so my 2021 reading challenge for Goodreads. I pledged 55 books to read. I'm at 80% right now, so I'm 14 books ahead of schedule. I have 44 books finished so far toward my goal of 55 for the month of 2021. So somebody is just on fire right now. So shout out to me, I guess. Or you guys can shout me out too if you want to for that as well. All shout outs, positive, are definitely welcome. So let me see where I'm at right here for this month. Oh geez, I'm only at, I look like 5 books read. So I definitely got to get up on my game. I usually like to have at least 6 books read per month. So I need to get on that. So I started with, well, actually it's 4 books read. Well, let me see. Hold on, let me check this one. Maybe might be 5. This is not in the script. No, it is. It's 4 books read. So so what I've read this month, Survive the Night by Riley Sager is the first book I started the month with. That came in late June, and I finished it in early July. And then I read The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo, which was very good. It was written in, in verse, in his poetry. So that was a little bit of a challenge for me because I'm not a very poetry inclined person. I like hearing it. Reading it in the form of a story was kind of interesting. Then I read The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, which is kind of an interesting story. And then I read The Escape Room by Megan Golden, which I really liked. I read another one of her books, The Night Swim, which I really liked too. But back to Riley Sager, I actually probably need to do an update video ranking my Riley Sager books now that we have a new addition to the Riley Sager series. And so Survive the Night, it's been kind of polarizing. Some people really like it, and then some people are kind of like, yeah, it's okay. And then some people are like, didn't like it. Nope. So it'll be interesting to see. Every once in a while, I go in and check the comments, the ratings on Goodreads and on Amazon just to see what people are saying. You got to take all comments, of course, with a grain of salt because we know how that goes. Let's see what we got here. So that's why I was. Steph got them jokes. Let's see, Claude. Yeah, I tried the fast drafting method and it was not good for me. I had to erase my project 3 times, including a 37K draft. I cut my book in 1/8 chunks and outline draft, edit each one before going forward. Okay, good. Yeah. Fast drafting. The thing about fast drafting that I don't like, and this maybe is what you're getting at. The thing I don't like about fast drafting is that if you get off stride, you can get way off stride, and the horse is like so far out of the barn that it's like almost impossible to pull the horse back in. So, so I don't know if that's what you were getting at, but that's one of my tough things about it. And actually, I mentioned it with the book I'm writing right now. I deviated a little bit from the outline, but I was able to rein it back in before I got too far down the line, and it would have had to do an even more massive cleanup than what I had to do. So, so I'm with you on that one. Very, very well reasoned, and really good to hear you share that. But yeah, erasing the project 3 times, including 37K draft, because usually I don't know about you, but usually when I get, it's pretty rare that I get over. If I get 20K into it, it's pretty rare that I don't finish it. So. Yeah, that is wow. That is some serious work you put in. So shout out to Claude for putting in some serious work. Let's see. It is a lot of work for real. It is. Yeah, there's no question about that. Let's see. Shay also says, yeah, I'm 10 away from my 2021 Goodreads goal, but I would like to finish out my goal by the end of August because I'm so close. Yeah, I've seen some people when they wrap up their Goodreads goal like really early, or they're about to wrap it up early, they'll expand. I don't know if you can do that still. I think at one point you could do that, but I'm going to leave mine just because I'm all about winning. So I grew up with that competitive background in sports and video games and pretty much everything else. So. I like winning, so I'm going to go ahead and win the Goodreads challenge and then just kind of run up the score by the end. So, I mean, my unofficial new goal will probably be something like, maybe 65-ish to try to get to that 65, maybe 70. So that would be the Goodreads goal, finishing that, completing that, plus about 10 to 15 additional books. Let's see. Claude says exactly. And as you said, even with a good outline, we tend to go off track. So yeah, like I said, I deviated. I went off track a little bit, and then it just it was like the light from the sky. It was like, you're off track. And so I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. And so I went back and I checked my outline, and it was a small deviation, but it was I did go off stride a little bit. And the reason that I fixed it is because I could have made it work, but it made more sense the way I had it in the outline when I really thought it through. So I was glad that I went back and I fixed that earlier rather than later, because again, it would have been a massive cleanup to try to come back and get that one later. So Steph with the shout out for Shay. And Shay's been killing the game too, man. Shay has been on top of it here with her live stream. So if you see Shay's name in there, go check her out. Go check out her channel. Go check out Coffee Over Apples as well. I mentioned her a little bit earlier. Claude, I don't know if you have a channel, Claude. If you do, go ahead and drop it in there. I'm all about social generosity. So if you got your channel, go ahead and drop it in there, and definitely invite people to go and visit you if you got one. So feel free to do that. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get ready for sprint number 1. Good discussion here to kick things off. Appreciate everybody coming through. If you can hit the like button, I would appreciate that as well. Trying to grow my modest channel here a little bit more, and trying to continue to produce good content. I'm going to, look at some ways that I can maybe adjust some things. I've been doing more of these sit-down type videos, not just because I have a new chair and a new desk, but just it's a little bit more convenient, if you know. It's just kind of nice to be able to relax a little bit. I see a lot of people on YouTube who are doing that a little bit more. So you are welcome. You are welcome, and glad that we've been able to make that connection here on YouTube, and definitely enjoy watching your content. And it's really been a pleasure to watch your content. So yeah, you know what? If you do start one, it's one of those things that it's definitely a commitment to do it. And so I definitely can't speak to the other things that you have going on. But there are times like right now, with the book project that I'm working on right now, I'm really focused on that right now, and trying to get that done. And as I mentioned, a little over 40,000 words toward, I'm thinking probably 80 to 85,000 for book 1 in this series. And so I'm really focused on getting that done. So something's got to give. So, I've got the writing, then I've got the reading, which is I've kind of had to give a little bit on that as well, and then plus doing the videos. So that's one of the reasons why the sit down videos are probably going to be a little bit easier for me to focus on those. So yeah, I mean, something to keep in the back of your mind if you think about doing a channel at some point, and sharing some of your insights. But whether or not you do, you are always welcome to come back through here and leave your comments, and look forward to getting to know more about your writing and whatever reading preferences you have that you would like to share as we move along. Oh, look at all the love here in the chat here. Appreciate all that love in the chat here. Some of my BookTube homies in here and homettes. So always appreciate having you guys here in the house. So, all right, let me go ahead and get this clock up on the screen. And Steph, I was thinking about using one of the non-standard clocks, but I chickened out. So I'm going to stick with tradition here, with the boring tradition here. So we're going to go with the standard clock here. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. It's about 1:33 p.m. Eastern here. So we'll go for a good 20 minutes here. We'll come back at about 1:53, 1:54-ish, and chop it up again. If you guys have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the chat, and I will get to them. If not, while we're sprinting, certainly after, between sprints 1 and 2, which reminds me that I should probably get this up here on the screen. So this will be productivity sprint number 1, and away we go. Okay, so back with y'all right now. Let me reset my clock here in the background. Not that you guys can see it, but I wanted to reset the clock to be ready for sprint number 2. And so I ended up finishing with 451 words during that particular sprint. So it was productive for me indeed. I ended up getting on a nice little roll. Actually, what I did was I'm at the end of a chapter, and I had kind of the skeleton of the chapter in there. And what I did was I went back and I kind of added some pieces to what was already there and expanded upon what was already there. And I think I was very, very productive in terms of really adding to it, not taking away from anything, and making sure I really like to put a good emphasis on ending each chapter on a strong, hard-hitting note, as strong and hard-hitting a note as possible without trying to go overboard. So sort of like the cliffhanger of the like an old TV show, you know, like what they used to say on Batman, same bat time, same bat channel, and Batman was in some kind of precarious position, and you don't know if he's going to get out of it, if he and Robin are going to get out of it, and somehow he finds a way to get out of it, but you have to hang on until the next episode to be able to see if he got out of it. So I try to go for a little bit of a, if not a cliffhanger, just a kind of a nice, impactful ending to each particular chapter. So Claude says, edited about a page and a half, still 8 left to finish chapter 4. So good progress there. Yeah, you know, I did in terms of even with the 451 words that I got in, I did go back and tweak a couple of things. There was one little part where one of my characters kind of got out of character a little bit, so I had to rein him back in a little bit. And then I decided to also tweak a different character to slightly change her personality. So this is actually a husband and wife. And so I was putting him more into his character as I envisioned it, and then slightly tweaking hers because I think she's evolving in a little bit of a different way than I envisioned in the very beginning. And so that's been kind of fun to see. You know, it always, no matter how much you outline, you're going to deviate, hopefully in a good way, from what you originally thought as characters start to develop and you start to see how, so you envision a character, right? And then you take that character and you put him or her in an environment. And then when you put him or her in an environment, then you have to determine not just, you know, what their age is, what their height is, what their weight is, their eye colors, their build, all that stuff. And you think about their personality in a broad way, but then you have to determine how they're going to react in different situations. And so once you put them in the situations and then you have them react a certain way, you have to determine, okay, does this work or do I need to tweak it a little bit? And so that's all part of the challenge when you're working on characters. Let's see, Claude says, that's the best when our characters surprise us. Without that, I feel like writing would be tedious. No, not just for you either. I think it would be, yeah. I mean, you know, there was a book that I was writing. It was a long time ago, probably about 5 years ago. This book hasn't seen a lot of day, even though I actually really liked the story. So I was writing this story, and I came up with this secondary character. And as I was developing this character, I was just like, I love this character. And this character was so cool. And I felt like this character was literally stealing the show. And so I took that character and I spun the character off into a separate book that I like even more than the original book that the character debuted in. So sometimes that does happen. And as characters evolve, you kind of are like, yeah, I like where we're going here. And so, yeah, I think it does become tedious if you don't let the characters kind of develop on their own and develop their own personalities, and then how they interact with others determines what direction that you ultimately take them in. So without a doubt, yeah. And then one thing with writing is you do not want writing to become tedious, because that is a good way to burn out or to get deep into a story and then kind of fizzle out a little bit. So definitely make sure that if a situation, if a character or a story, if it evolves in a good direction, it's different than what you originally envisioned, take the time to think about, maybe I'm going in this direction for a reason, and there's a reason why I need to deviate or just part company with the original idea, the original outline. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta you gotta let it flow and see how things play out for you. So, appreciate that. You can see on the screen, that's where you can find me, guys, on Twitter. It's just Sandy Golston, my first and last name on Twitter. You can find me. I tweet about a whole bunch of stuff, and I've been actually slacking on my Twitter game, so I need to get my Twitter game back going again. And so that's also, by the way, where you can find me. That handle is where you can find me on Instagram as well. So if you want to check me out on Instagram, you can feel free to do that as well. And again, if you would like to subscribe to the channel, you can certainly do that. It would be much appreciated. I would definitely love if you guys would be willing to hit the like button if you have not already. That would be fantastic. So, yeah, just little ways to be generous with each other. And again, if you guys have your books that you guys are reading that you want to recommend to me, I am always open for that. It's just, I like right now, I'm on a really big young adult kick right now. And so, yeah, I'm reading a ton of young adult, but I do have some adult books too that I'm reading as well. So I've got a couple there. I got to get my nonfiction game going. My nonfiction game has been absolutely horrible in 2021. So I have been slacking. I think I've only read like a couple. I think of the books that I've read this year, I think I've only read one nonfiction book. So I definitely got to step up my nonfiction game. So I got a couple nonfiction books that I'm looking at reading. So, I'm a little picky about nonfiction books. So we'll see. I'm going to see what I have in my collection that I have not read in terms of nonfiction that I need to get going. I've got one or two that definitely jump out at me that I need to read. I read nonfiction very fast. So I don't know. Fiction, are you guys the same way? Like, do you guys like nonfiction? I will blitz through a nonfiction book so fast and everything just soaks in. And then with fiction, it's like, it just takes me a little bit longer to get it to soak in. So I don't know if that's some of you might be sitting out there like, duh. I mean, yeah, that's obvious. So if it is, feel free to say that to me as well. I will take no offense. All right, so let's get ready for sprint number 2. So we're going to go productivity sprint number 2. Let me get the clock back up here. We're going to go for another 20 minutes here, pretty quick here. Let me see, a couple of you jumped in here. Let me see what Steph got to say here. Nonfiction audiobooks are a good time. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that might be a good way. I'm doing Scribd right now, and to be honest with you, I've had it and I have not. Oops, computer went to sleep on me. I have not investigated its nonfiction nearly as much, so I do need to go and check that out. So that's a good point. Nonfiction, yeah, I can. It's a great point about being able to multitask with nonfiction books as opposed to fiction books. So that is a really, really good point. So let me check out some nonfiction audiobooks. That's a great point. Steph is just Steph is our resident scholar. She just comes up with stuff like that. So she keeps us on our game here. So always appreciate Steph doing that while she's furthering her education, getting her YouTube channel to pop off. She's just doing it all. She's my shero. So keep doing what you do. But yeah, it's a great idea about nonfiction books, multitasking. So I will definitely look into getting that going. So, all right. So let me go ahead and jump in. Let me hit this clock here real quick. I'm at an interesting spot here because I'm at the end of pretty much at the end of a chapter. So sometimes starting a new chapter can be really slow. Sometimes it can be really fast. The good news is that I pretty much know what I want to do at the start of the next chapter. So it should not be much of a transition for me. So with that, let me go ahead and hit the timer and we'll get going. Oh yeah, power naps. power, power nap sounds like a good idea. I took one earlier. I don't know. It was like a food coma after breakfast, so I took one a little bit earlier. So I might take another one today. It's dreary and wet and whatnot outside, so I hear you on that one. All right, we are back after productivity sprint number 2, which is in the books for us. And I finished with 474 words written during the second productivity sprint. So that ended up being pretty productive for me. So it makes sense, though, to be productive during a productivity sprint. So definitely feeling pretty good about that. I started a new chapter and also had to clean up a couple things at the end of the previous chapter just to make something make sense. So I had to go and do a little bit of cleanup, but also got off to a good start with the next chapter. And let me see, I know that at least one comment came in there from Steph is, oh, yeah. You know, glad those grad loans are coming in handy. Yeah, oh my gosh, student loans. Oh, goodness gracious. I mean, it's just sometimes just almost just, yeah, I don't even know what kids are going to do 5, 10, 15 years from now in terms of college. But that's a discussion that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day, maybe a whole nother channel right there. So, but best wishes. Hopefully you're finishing up strong this summer. And it's really great to see you continuing to be able to do your booktube content. Actually, it just made me remember that I just got, I was tagged, Margaret tagged me in a video, so I got to go and do that. So I might have a tag video that I need to do. So I don't really do a ton of tag videos anymore. So, but I do need to do that one. I think it was a fun, I can't remember what the prompt was, but it was kind of fun. I can't remember what it was. Oh, what was that prompt? Oh, it was something like a book that you were excited about that had a disappointing finish. That's what it was. Something about a disappointing finish. So, and there was a book that immediately popped in my head. It's not a book it was a book that I read last year, but there was a book that immediately popped in my head. Let's see, Claude says 2 more pages edited. Good work right there. Editing is a grind. It is such a grind. When I edit, I just do so many things. There's so many, well, first of all, there's multiple types of edits that you do. So I don't know, I mean, you might share, your editing process, but, I go through and, do a quick edit where I'll go through and just check and see how things are looking at a quick glance. Basically, it's a quick read edit. If I catch obvious stuff, I'll change it. Then I go through and do like a structural edit, and just, making sure everything makes sense. And then I look at it and I do like a flow edit. And all the while, I run it through a variety of programs as well. And then I just do it all again. So it's like it's a never-ending process for sure. Welcome to the Naked Firefly. Hi, everyone, she says, and welcome to the productivity sprint. We're 2 sprints in, and right now just going through some of the comments, checking out what people have to say. If you have any book recommendations for us, definitely share those. Let us know what you're reading. Always interested in what people are reading out there in BookTube land. And those of you who are writers, what are you writing out there in AuthorTube land? So, for me right now, I think I have 4 books read, and I'm working on this one, finishing this one right here. So this is a book that I started recently. I'm a little bit more focused on writing right now because I'm just in a really good groove with my writing project. So I have not been reading quite as much, but I definitely look forward to getting back into a little bit more of a reading groove here. And again, I mentioned nonfiction. I need to start reading some nonfiction. So, but again, welcome to the Naked Firefly. Thank you so much for joining us. Coffee over apples, Steph says, wrote a quarter of a lesson plan. Hey, you know what? Yeah, you gotta get ready for that, don't you? Yeah, the school year's gonna pop up on you pretty quick there, huh? Let's see. Claude says, this year for reading, I don't know why, but I wanted to go back to my old days when I was a teenager and I reread many novels from that time. Some did not age well, others did. It was fun. You know, I did, you know, was it last year? It was last year. I was going to read a classic book. Each month I was going to read at least one classic book. And I pretty much was inconsistent with that and not staying as true to that as I needed to. So I ended up kind of flopping on that one. But I've been very interested. There's a few books that I want to reread. And you're right, some do hold up. What was the book that I read? It was the book that the movie Cobra is based on. I can't remember what it's called. And I just forgot the name of the book. And I read that last year. And it was a book from the 1970s. And it read like the 1970s. And it was kind of hard to read. But then I remember I reread The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. And that did hold up pretty well. So that was fun to read The Outsiders again. And I definitely really enjoyed reading that one. So yeah, some books hold up. Some just are like, I'm not really feeling that one. Oh, I was reading a bunch of Perry Mason books last year. So I might get back to those because some of those are really good. I grew up with my dad watching Perry Mason. My dad was a big like courtroom lawyer, you know, Matlock, Perry Mason, all those types of shows. He loved watching those shows back in the day. So let's see. Steph says that would be a good book. Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Yeah, Claude's got some game here. Claude has definitely got some game here. Let's see. Hey, Nazy, welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. One of our regulars in here. Always glad to see Nazy. Hopefully you will be productive there. I see you got the little smiley face right there. So hopefully your morning and afternoon are going well and you are being productive. Or it's Saturday. Don't know what the weather's like in your area, but it's overcast and threatening rain. So you know, we'll see how it goes. Definitely kind of an indoor day here. So, and I got no shortage of projects that need to go down here in this house that I need to fix. I bought a new bed, so I put that together and let the mattress inflate. And so, man, that opened up definitely a new, the bed that I had, this is like probably TMI, but hey, you know how it goes. But I was sleeping on an old bed, and man, it feels good to sleep on a new bed. I've actually been able to sleep, so that's kind of nice. So hopefully I'll be a little bit more refreshed here as I get used to a new bed. So opens up a lot of new doors, that's for sure. Let's see, Claude says, for now I rephrase and rewrite the draft to get it cleaner. I also have a list of other things to check later, time of sentences, character voice, repetitive words. Yeah, repetitive words is a good one too. I do that too. I use that a lot and I try to eliminate that. And there's other words and phrases that I try to, like a lot of filler words and phrases that I have out there that I try to make sure that I cut back on quite a bit. So there's like lists. You go to different websites. There's like lists of like these filler words that we put that are unnecessary or overly wordy. And sometimes while you're in the midst of writing, you don't realize it, but then you go back and you're like, oh yeah, I can take that out, and it still reads exactly the same, just shorter. Let's see. Whoops, sorry, I jumped down there. Right now I'm reading Slumber Book 1. Bought it last year and haven't had a chance to read it. Okay, I gotta check that out. Have not heard that one. And by Ted Cummings. Okay, I'll have to check that one out. Matter of fact, let me pull it up right now. Shoot. Hold on, let me check this out right now since Ted Cummings. Computer keeps trying to go. I have two computers here and it keeps trying to go to sleep on me. So, oh, it's a Kindle Unlimited. Okay, I like that already. That means I can borrow it for free. Let's see. Slumber is a Black science fiction novel that takes place in post-apocalyptic. Oh, it's interesting. Mine is not science fiction, but my 5-book series is interesting. It's in a post-apocalyptic America, so it's actually kind of interesting. It is a dystopian tale in which a mutated virus devastates America. Millions become infected and succumb to the virus. As a result, the country is in chaos. It's pretty timely now. The remaining population must now decide how and if it can survive in the face of many obstacles and many enemies. Oh, that sounds really good. Let me see. Let me check into this author here. See how many. It says book one. So this is book one. Let's see. Okay. So it looks like Ted Cummings is new on the scene. It's got 28 reviews. Looks like largely positive reviews. All 3, 4, majority 5-star reviews. So 74% 5-star reviews. So that's pretty positive right there. So, all right, well, good one. Science fiction. That sounds really good. Appreciate that suggestion. Let's see. Nazy says I'm being productive at work. If that counts, it does count. Hey, if work helps you pay the bills, then hey, that's probably good to be productive. So that's my philosophy. Can't get mad at you for that. Appreciate you coming through, though, as always. Let's see. Nazy says I'm being productive at work. The Mothers by Britt. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Britt Bennett. Is that? Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. I saw that. What's the other Britt Bennett book that I have? The Vanishing Half. Isn't that by Britt Bennett? I had that book a long time ago. Yeah. I got that off of Book of the Month. That was a Book of the Month book. You know what's in another room that I changed bedrooms in my house, and I left that book in the other bedroom, and I keep forgetting. I keep overlooking it. I got to move it like in front of me. So maybe I'll put it over here, so it's staring at me and calling my name, and looking at me side eye when I go on Amazon and start looking at other books to read. So sometimes I don't know. Maybe it's just a phenomenon. Maybe it's my guilty conscience, but I feel like my books are looking at me side eye when they're sitting here unread, and I'm looking at other new books. It's like that meme where the guy's walking with his girlfriend, and he turns his head and he looks at the woman that just walked past, looking at something that looks interesting that causes you not to pay attention to what you actually have. So, yep, Britt Bennett. Yep, I was just looking. Yeah, I glanced at that book, The Mothers, once, but yeah, I got to read The Vanishing Half though. I'm glad you mentioned that author because I do need to finish that. See, Steph says need to jump on the Britt Bennett hype. Heard so many good things. I've heard a lot about the Vanishing Half, so I need to. I think that was I think it was Book of the Month, Book of the Year, like maybe a couple years ago or something like that. I don't remember when it came out. It was like Book of the Year or something like that. So it was pretty highly thought of at one point. So that's one I definitely need to pick up. But oh man, it's just so many books, and I'm such a slow fiction reader too. Unless it's an audiobook, then that helps me stay on my game a little bit more than I might otherwise. But yeah, Britt Bennett, I agree. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Britt Bennett as well. So it definitely is going to be an author that's worth checking out. So I'm looking forward to jumping into that. But it's an intriguing. The Vanishing Half is an intriguing story. With an interesting racial angle that I just found, and I'm sure a lot of other people also found pretty intriguing. Let's see. The Vanishing Half is okay. So we got a testimonial here about The Vanishing Half. I have heard again good things about The Vanishing Half, and yeah, I got to get it out that other bedroom that I don't use anymore. That's going to be my guest room. So for whatever reason, when I moved into my house, I think it was because the mover. It was either the mover's fault or it was my fault. I don't remember because it was such a long time ago. But they put the my bigger bed that I use, they put in the smaller bedroom. So for the time that I've been in this house, years, I have been sleeping in the smaller of the two main bedrooms. There's another room that's over here that you can't see off camera that I can use as a bedroom as well. But the two main bedrooms, they put the bigger bed in the smaller bedroom, and I just did not feel like moving it, so I just slept in the smaller bedroom. And so the bigger bedroom became sort of like a walk-in closet / second bedroom. But when I bought the new bed, I put the new bed in the bigger bedroom, just because, for number one, it saved me having to move the other bed, because what was in the smaller room was a fold-away bed. So, yeah, it's probably TMI for you guys, but I was in the moment. I started to flow, and I just couldn't help myself. All right, so let me get the clock back on here for our third sprint. Let me get that thing off of there. We're gonna go sprint number 3. Get the clock up here on the screen. So I'm in a good spot right here in the story. I am at, let me see, let me word count here real quick for the story, just so you guys have an idea. So I am 41,300 words exactly into this story. And I anticipate it's going to be, I said earlier, it's going to be probably in the 80 to 90,000 range. I think I said 80 to 85 earlier, but I think it's going to be 80 to 90. From a structure standpoint, I'm using the 3-act structure to write stories. And I am now, again, 41,000 words in, and I have just made it through Act 1. So, 41,000, where I'm at right now, I'm just into Act 2. Act 2 started with this current chapter that I just began. So, or actually the chapter before it that I just began. So, I'm anticipating Act 2 is a little shorter. So Act 2, I'm thinking, is probably going to take me about maybe 20,000 words for Act 2. And so that would put me at what, 60, probably 60 to 65,000 words. And then I figure Act 3 will probably be about 25K. So that puts me pretty close, 20 to 25K. So that puts me up to probably around 90,000 words total to wrap it up. So, but we'll see. Once you get into it and you start writing, you can things just kind of, you just end up going in all kinds of different directions. So, we'll see what happens. But I think the outline is pretty solid. I feel pretty good about it. And after deviating from the outline early, I've gotten myself back under control and back focused, keeping my eyes on the proverbial prize, so to speak. So, all right. So with that, I'm going to jump into the third and final productivity sprint of the session here. And I will be doing one more next week. So NaNoWriMo, finishing up NaNoWriMo. And who knows, I might keep doing them weekly again. I don't know. It's kind of fun going back to weekly. I was doing weekly for a while, and then I started doing them monthly. But weekly has been kind of fun during NaNoWriMo. So we'll see how it goes. I may keep doing them, but time will tell. All right, so here we go. So get to whatever's going to help you be productive, and we'll go for 20 minutes and come back, chop it up, wrap it up, and move on with our rest of our days. So let's get started with 20 minutes right now. Okay, so I finished the last productivity sprint with 472 words. So I've been pretty consistent right there in that 400 word range. Let me get this clock off of here. But yeah, so did pretty good right there. Very productive with the words. So I think I was pretty close, pushing up to 500 words, I think, per sprint. So 472, 474, and 451. So yeah, pretty consistent, 451, 472, 474. So did pretty well right there. So that definitely puts me in a pretty good range. I usually like to get 1,200 plus words in during one of these sessions. So I'm feeling really good about that. And yeah, I'm in good shape, knocking on the door of. Okay, see, I just saw an error that I had to fix on the screen. So I'm knocking on the door of pushing up on toward 50,000 words. I hope to be at 50 by the end of the weekend. So that's going to definitely be the goal. So thanks to people who saw the Goodreads message. Definitely feel free to connect with me on Goodreads. I threw it in the chat. So great to see people wanting to connect via Goodreads. Definitely excited about that. If you're on Twitter, you can catch me on Twitter as well. So thanks to Claude and stuff for the ads on Goodreads. And you know what? I use Goodreads mainly for two purposes. Purpose number one is to help me keep track of the books that I'm reading during the year. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is it's kind of like Facebook. There's like so many people I know who are on Goodreads, and some people who have some reading interests that align with mine are on Goodreads. And so the second reason is that I get good reading ideas for books. So I'm definitely excited about that. There are some people on Goodreads who give reviews that I really respect because I know that they're not insane. So it's really nice to read some reviews from people that I know are not like certifiably insane. So that is definitely a good thing there. So Claude says another 2 pages edited. It's been very productive and fun. I like the chat between the sprints. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Come on back through next week. If you're subscribed to the channel, you'll see that I should have the shell set up for next week, and definitely looking forward to that one. And I probably will go back to some weekly sprints. It's just a lot of fun. I mean, I'm already going to be writing anyway, so it's going to be nice to do that. Now, when I get into the school year, working on a college campus, things get a little busy sometimes on the weekends. I have some significant weekend commitments, so I may end up switching to Sunday. Sunday is a little bit more of a free day for me as opposed to Saturday, which is usually just insanely busy for me, especially, not even especially. I mean, just really from like early September through, I don't know, in March, April, it's just kind of crazy for me. So I'll probably be doing more on Sundays. So I might experiment with some days on Sundays as I do the weekly sprints. But check out the channel. I've got to start thinking about my July wrap-up video. I got to do that. I also got to think about my August TBR is something I'm going to have to do. I have a mini book haul video that I'm going to produce, and I've also got some AuthorTube type videos that I want to do as well. I'm going to take advantage of having my hair cut, so my hair game is on point. When you don't grow hair quite like I did, years ago, it makes it a little bit easier in some ways and harder in some ways to manage. So, but while I've got good hair, I'm going to go ahead and get some of these videos filmed here. It is like raining cats and dogs out here in Michigan, in the great state of Michigan. So definitely a good day to be indoors and to get some indoor projects done. So I'm going to go ahead and part company from you guys, but thanks to everybody who came out and supported and chimed in. Had some great chats, as Claude mentioned, between sprints. It was really great to engage with the family out here. Up over 2 hours. I don't usually go over 2 hours very often, but it's been so good and so productive, and really started right from the beginning. And I'm just immensely thankful to all of you guys who came through and added comments and really enhanced the atmosphere tremendously. So looking forward to coming back here next week, finishing up my Camp NaNoWriMo experience. I'm knocking on the door of 50,000 words. So 50,000 is the goal that I set for Camp NaNoWriMo in July. So I'm looking forward to wrapping that up this week and achieving that goal. And then looking ahead, of course, to NaNoWriMo in November, which is just an extra way for me to stay on track, stay motivated, and to keep those competitive juices flowing. So with that, Shay, let's see, Shay's, I got lunch eaten. Hey, that's a good thing. Because you know what? I skipped lunch. I had a large breakfast, and I was supposed to have at least a yogurt before getting on here and sprinting. So I might go and have a yogurt and then think about what's going to be for dinner. So we'll see what's for dinner tonight. And hopefully it'll be something that'll be pretty good. Steph says, thanks for hosting, Sandy. Always a good time. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Shay with the hobbies. Thank you, Claude. Appreciate you coming in. Nazy. Appreciate having you, the Naked Firefly. Thank you for joining us. Claude, thank you for joining us for the first time as well. So appreciate all the people who came through and again made it just a phenomenal chat. Just some great contributions from so many people. You guys make it special. You guys make it fun. So with that, thanks to everybody again. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next week. But check the channel during the week because I should have some videos uploaded and posted for you guys to check out. So with that, have a great rest